Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Welcome back for an FEB Extra. Tonight, the Cardiff Gyant cover story. So, good to see you peeps. This is me coming back because I've never done a flat today, because I'd done it the day before because I wanted to watch Flattoberfest, the only thing going on really in the Flat Earth community this year because of obvious reasons. So, Cardiff Gyant. Now, I've always been interested in the Cardiff Gyant story. I actually posted about it on the Celtic Tartarian channel 4 years ago, okay, because I'm from the city of Cardiff in Wales, the original Cardiff. This Cardiff is in New York State. Now, looking into the inquiry, it would seem that there was a lot of newspapers around the 1860s periods reporting on petrified men being dug out of the mud, discovered by builders. In a lot of cases. Now, this is one of the greatest hoaxes in American history, is the Cardiff Gyant, or in world history, if you like. But a lot of people at the time really did think this was a real thing, a real petrified giant. Okay, they wanted the guy who. Well, we'll look into the narrative over it, but there's enough people thinking it's real. Now, what I'm thinking is because of the narrative and all the stuff we've looked at, and some of the stuff I'll show you in this post, right? And the very distinct possibility that the giants walked this place before us, there was a giant civilization in the classical world, which I'll show you in this post. There is a very distinct possibility that they laid the narrative down for the Cardiff Gyant as a hoax, and it was hoaxed by academia, a member of the Archaeological Institute, very highly flawed school of inquiry, which you don't trust. I don't. So I'm not going with that. I think there might have been something in it, and there was a lot of giants dug up at this time. Curious part of the a curious part of the calendar as well, the 1860s, coming up to the Civil War, digging out the mud after 1811. Makes a lot of sense. They would find a lot of petrified giants. So we're going to look into giants. So it is good to see you. Happy belated Flat Day, flat thumbs to all. Happy hats if you got them. Okay. Happy vibration, and it is bloody good to see you all. Okay, much love to you all. Peace and love. So. Yeah, Flattoberfest was fantastic to see so many happy people actually living like human beings without masks, hugging, human connections. There's nothing better, is there? Yeah, I would have loved to have been there, but I'm on lockdown. I'm on lockdown in Cardiff for the next 17 days. And then, if we're good little bastards, apparently, we're going to be allowed out for Christmas. No, I don't do Christmas. I beans on toast last Christmas Day. Okay, I don't do shitmas. I just don't do any of it. So I'm not in it. Okay, I'm out of it. I'm not in it. I'm not in the system. I'm not in the grid. In this Phoenician paradigm. Now, I'm just going to share. Okay, so make sure to share this out. Flat Earth Britishness, extra postage, and we're going to look into the Cardiff giants, and we're going to look into classical era in depictions and show you that there were giants existing there, as well as electromagnetic technologies such as fasces. Okay, do enjoy. I'm glad to be back. Peace and love to you all. Have fun. Okay, now the Cardiff Gyant. Okay, was discovered in 1869, so 2 years after the American Civil War. Okay, by builders down a well, and there he is, complete with Todge, and that got a lot of people visiting. Even P.T. Barnum had him in a museum, and he was a freak with wax museums as well. Remember my last post on Martin Liedtke channel? If you haven't seen it, I talk about wax museums and petrified people. Okay, so this was on display in Syracuse. Okay, there he is. Now, I think he looks very lifelike. And you can visit him today in the modern day in Farmers Museum. Okay, he's had a few alterations, as in he's been depenied. And there he is, 10 foot tall. They reckon he was probably one of the Nephilim, or one of the biblical giants, fossilized in some great event. Okay, so P.T. Barnum offered $150,000 for the giant, the most valuable single exhibit in the world today. So that there was the most expensive exhibit on earth. Yet they said it was a hoax. Doesn't fit, does it? So the giant was one of the most famous hoaxes in American history. It was over 10 feet tall, purported petrified man. uncovered on the 16th of October 1869 by workers digging a well. So basically, guys, digging mud, digging a well behind a barn, Mr. Stubb in Cardiff, New York. No coinky dink there. I'm in Cardiff. Both it and the unauthorised copy made by P.T. Barnum were still being displayed. The original currently on display at Farmers Market. So Barnum made a copy. Okay, that's why it has no penis. Creation and discovery. So they say the giant was created by a tobacconist, Mr. George Hull, an atheist, who created the giant after an argument with a Methodist revival meeting about Genesis 6:4, which states that there were giants who once lived on Earth. The idea of a petrified man did not originate with Hull. However, during 1856, the newspaper Alta California had published a bogus letter claiming that a prospector had been petrified when he had drunk a liquid with a geode. So, no. Some other newspapers had also published stories of supposed petrified people. So yeah, they were all over this era, okay? And then this comes up, and it just, because it's a hoax, and maybe an obvious hoax, one of them, who knows, it just takes out the narrative for giants and petrified people, which Victorians, or Tartarians apparently, were really obsessed with. No coinky dink there, eh? So Hull hired men in a quarry, okay, to get a block of gypsum out, which he took to Fort Dodge. Bit of a dodgy name there, very telling. Then it was intended for the monument of Abraham Lincoln in New York. He shipped the block back to Chicago, where he hired Edward Brugart, a German stonecutter, to carve the likeness of the man, swore him to secrecy. So he made Barnum, he was dodgy anyway, he made a copy, okay. It goes into how they made it and how much, but there was people saying that that they thought this thing was a real giant at the time, and in the narrative for when it was found. So goes into the finances, and archaeological scholars pronounce the giant a fake. So it's down to academia, okay, but there were alternatives at the time, guys, and they say that this thing was real. Some geologists noted that there was no good reason to dig a well in that exact spot that the giant had been found, unless of course they had done a bit of divining and found water there in the first place, or a giant. Yale philanthropist Mr. Mash, funny name isn't it, Mash, like a mash, examined the statue and pointed out that it was made of soluble gypsum, which had been buried in a blanket of wet earth for centuries. So the fake was from years before in this interpretation, and still fresh tool marks on it, which it did. And he termed it the most decided humbug. So theologians and preachers, however, defended its authenticity. So the clergy definitely thought this was a real thing. Okay, so it travelled around. Okay, I guess the one with a knob basically got a lot more money than Barnum's one. Well, when the syndicate refused anyway. So he displayed his giant in New York, claiming that it was a real giant, but the Cardiff Gyant was a fake. So going on Wikipedia, going on the subs that are out there to get rid of, like they did with Tartarian, I think this thing may have been real, And the Cardiff Gyant was displayed in the 1901 Pan American Exposition, but did not attract too much attention. Well, I think it might have. They're only saying that. So yeah, you got a lot of links and a lot of books associated with this subject. There's a lot of imitators, they say, following this. This is one I've looked at. The Tuganok Falls State Park. They're saying this guy's made of gypsum too, but I'm thinking these are real petrified humans. This is an interesting little link here. When giants roamed the earth. Remember, guys, standing on the shoulders of giants. This is this farmer's museum in oh god, excuse me, I can't remember which exact state. Let's have a look. So there it is, one of the Cardiff Giants in modern day. Okay, 10 feet tall. America's greatest hoax. It's still an exhibit, and it's made of gypsum. So even if it was, and this was a hoax, you know, who's to not say that it's to get everyone's mind off of thinking about the real giants that have been dug up, that are all over the newspapers at that time. All of the newspapers at that time. So the Tugunnock giant is another giant that they dug up, similar to the Cardiff giants. Again, dug out of mud on a hot day by workmen. Again, dug out of the mud. Okay, but they said that this petrified man was also a psyop, or excuse me, a hoax. So yeah, there's a few of them about. There's no doubt about. I think that this is just a psyop. I really do. The Cardiff Giant. It's stuck in my mind for so long. Let's have a few depictions of giants. So in India, on cave art, or on the front of what looked like a melted cliff, you have giants with Vajra devices, or pyramid stepping technology, energy devices, standing on people, and the people are here and they're really small. So there were a race of giants depicted in India, also the Buddhas. Now I've put giant Jesus out there, OG giant, the original giant Christ, because to me this place was an upper vibrational place at one stage, scintillating. We didn't operate on this lower level vibration. And for us, the truth is, we are waking up. You know, this is what 2020. You know, I've been talking about reset for years now, Scott. You know, guys, I talked about pandemic last year, and I told you all that something massive, bigger than 9/11, we're gonna wipe it all over the floor, was coming next year. My closest friend, confidant, I actually stated and said we're just going to have to wait till next year because everybody's going to know. Okay, now I went out walking today for a bit of fresh air, my daily constitutional during lockdown, because I have to keep fit, because I'm a very active person and I'm bursting with energy, which is, you know, hard when they tell you to stay in a flat. And some fella came across the road, a young chap on his bike called Lee. Yeah. He says, excuse me, are you that man who does Tartarian on YouTube? I said, yeah, man, that's me. So he's like, wow, well, blown away, you know, one of the, you know, local, doing all of that. And so we got talking. He told me his grandmother used to say to him, oh, they were giants here before, you do know that. And she talked of reset as well. She talked of reset. And he said when he was small, he didn't know whether to believe her or she was just talking rubbish. These are Patagonia giants. And Patagonia was occupied by the Welsh, so I feel they might have been Reds giants. So yeah, this other vibrational place, I reckon everybody would have been, they would have, or even these would have been bigger than the massive Titanic ones. And they threw over into the, you know, into the last century. I think the Harlem Globetrotters might be a cover story, you know, again, to keep all of the giants in your face, the greatest basketball team in history, and they're all giants. So there you see, Buddhas in the wall, giants. So this guy, I thought he was playing a saxophone now. So yeah, I think he's on his knees, but they could be giants. So the Romans, the Greco-Romano world, which we'll look up in some depictions very shortly, and Mesopotamia, and the Victorians or the Tartarians were very, very big. I know I haven't really seen a blonde giant Tartarian lady. They all seem to be dark haired for some reason. So if you're wondering what this is a bit of Jesuit encoded information about how this place works. The information is given to the Freemasons as high up as you go, whatever level. You know, there's only the 33 degree one is an honorary, so there's only ever 32 degrees, and then they probably tell them, get them in a room one day and say, well, what's the score? Right, sit down, you're going to need to. All history's a lie, and the earth's in fact flat. What? Yeah, it's a bit of a head fuck. So I think they're not privy to too much more information than we are at this stage. We're working out about how this, this matrix is working, our place in it, our abilities, our manifestation abilities, and within the simulation, anything is possible. Never limit yourself, because you can do it. It's only doubt that kills it, and the doubt is the parasite making sure you don't wake up and find out what you can do. Do you get it? Because that's what's going on, guys. So, oh, look at that giant. He's got a pair of furry underpants. So, jester giants in the Middle Ages, and everyone waving goodbye to this jolly giant. That's a really, really big giant. So the clues could be in Lilliput and Gulliver, that he's a giant and he goes to a land of small people. But what if that was here, guys? You know, that we're under a dome, there's water above us, which could possibly be the Tartarian Ocean, and giant lands which are occupied by people who are big enough to occupy them lands, because these lands are not big enough to be occupied long by titans. They might mine it, rip it off, have a slave race, etc., but I don't think they could live here permanently. They would go back home, back up. Hidden lands in here on the lateral, or above us, above water, where the Phoenicians dwell. Olympus, if you like. Giants, cryptids, all in the recent future, recent past. Excuse me. But, you know, to find out our future is we have to examine the past. He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the future controls the past. And that is never a truer word said. So, these are freaks. The Victorians' obsession with freaks. And I've seen these gentlemen a couple of times around, but he's doing the old Freemasonic thing there. Some people suggest, they get the smallest piece of people possible to make them look bigger, but that's not the case. The size of him. But that guy, in all defence, does look a little bit short. And that guy do. But this guy, no doubt. I've seen him many times. You can see him on YouTube. He was a whopper. But if everyone was like that, you know, no one would notice, was it? Unless you were a really small person. He looks small. Is he a normal sized man? It's difficult to say, see, but yeah. That could be two pictures, I'm not sure about that. If you're looking up or right, she's not actually looking up and left, is she? She follow her eye line. Neck would have to be bent up more to be staring at her face. I'm not so sure about that. But like I said, you know, they do muddy the water so we don't find out about these chaps. You know, this is a Tartarian, 7 foot 5 inches tall, which we've seen a few times on images on Flat Earth British. Okay, many more. Excuse me, let's get a bigger picture. Sonia, and she was a 2 meter tall. So you get them. I met a giant from Holland when I was in the Merchant Navy. He came to Rome with us, and he must have been 7 foot. He was the tallest person I ever knew or seen or met. And he was pure safe. Well, he was from Holland, so he would be. So yeah, giant doors, giant people, because all the doors were like this then, and still are in a lot of these old buildings. See what I mean? Big obsession with giants in the Tartarian period. Big obsession with giants and petrified giants. And the world that went before us, a bit like now, isn't it? He looks happy. Yeah. So, she's a big bird, isn't she? Oof. So that one's nearly 8 foot tall, but that is Mickey Rooney, and he's only 5'5", so famously short. Okay, so we have shrunk in the process. Looks like inky. And giant steps in China, I'm sure you've seen them. There's ridiculous size steps humans can't get up. There's a staircase for them. So a giant would have moseyed on up there in the past. Very time bandit, with a ship on his head where he just came out of the sea. Giant steps for giants. Giants in bas reliefs. Here we go again. They're looking up at the sun and they're all crying. There's 2 suns in the sky. She's like holding her face, he's looking down. 2 suns ready to shine for you. Well, whatever happens at this conjuncture, this point we're arriving at, it's something to do with the suns. You know, I definitely am thinking the sky instinctively. Don't know why. And other people are having visions of tidal waves, etc., contacting me, and people are dreaming a lot of strange dreams. I'm having trouble dreaming at the moment. Not dreaming, sleeping. When I do sleep, my short sleeps, I dream like fuck, excuse my French. But so everyone's affected by, is it the ongoing pandemic that they're affected by, that's affecting their sleep and not knowing what's coming and nervousness? Is it that? Or is it part of the ascension process? I think it is. If you look into the ascension process, part of this is sleeplessness, I'm afraid. There's a few other as well, aches and pains, all sorts really, associated with the ascension process. So, giants through antiquity, everywhere. Do you think in ancient antiquity they would have smashed, built these to show giants for no reason whatsoever? When they came in the Iraq War and started following it and started smashing ancient Syria, ancient Mesopotamia, etc., Babylon, in my mindset, they were like, emotionless. And wow, that's extreme antiquity. You can't do that. This stuff will never exist again. This is priceless. In their mindset, they're fixed and think, this is evil Phoenician shit. Get it out of here. So I'm like totally getting it. This stuff's evil and tainted, and they knew it. And they got rid of it, and at the same time covering up our history, so no one finds out about these big fellas. Hey, that looks like it's been melted as well. I wonder what these bits are. They would have been floors, joists for floors coming up here. Many stories on this building, maybe. Interesting little building, that one. And in the Indian classics, many giants. This giant just lazing about in a serpent's seashell. So very, very Phoenician thing going on there. Don't know if that's Brahma. So Brahma sleeps. Brahma sleeps, and each night he sleeps is a kalpas. And it's like a million of our years. So each night he dreams a million of our years, or something like that. So we're in a dream of Brahma, or in somebody's dream, or a dream within a dream. It does get confusing. Don't know which timeline we're on anymore, but I guess it'll all make sense eventually. I guess I gotta ride it. We all have, until the moment when things become a lot clearer. Because it can be quite discombobulating, and at times I feel like lost with it. Not the subject, with what's happening, guys. They just close the whole of civilization down, and they don't care about breaking the world economies. They're just printing more money, like as if there's no tomorrow. And they have resets. We have proved this beyond any shadow of a doubt now, guys. So a couple more big birds. She's doing something to his head. She's checking his hair for nits, maybe. Or just giving him a little head scratch. Hiya, fluffy. Like that. So, a giant boss. So can you imagine a giant on the end of your street? A giant guard. Giant like fascists, I mean. Yeah? Well, they'd be like twats, and they'd be evil and, ready to kill. Size don't mean nothing. We'd have them. They'll be just Davids. Maybe a giant foe, but you don't scare me. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. No, it didn't bring the Welsh up in that. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. So, Og was giants. That's why I say Og a lot on Oggy. And as I keep mentioning, he kicked another giant's ass back to the Make-Believe Stone Age, Moses. So Og was epic. Okay, he's not big on mass murderers or murderers full stop or anything like that. Badness going on. Because Og was a ledge. So Noah, also a giant, apparently the last good giant. He did lose his way after he bumped into a guy called Bacchus up in the Caucasus and got wasted. And went off on a rampage across Asia, but he's behaved himself when his Son Ham put a magical spell on him, making him impotent, and he couldn't go off philandering anymore. So he knocked the booze in the head and got back to building up a great civilization after the flood. So the big ones come in. My stomach keeps turning over all the time. Can't define what it is exactly. Could be something else. Just have to believe in ourselves and know that we have won. We busted their bullshit, and they won't come clean because they're too evil and scared, but they gotta fuck off. And then there'll be a new world awaiting us. It's gonna be a rough ride, no doubt about it, but for many of us, myself, it's been rough all the way, and it's just no different. I've always been on a fight for survival. So, images of Giant Age. So, make sure to share this out. These are images of Rome now, where you get fasces, the type of thing that they did in the classical world. Now, Rome to me is a psyop. Okay, you can see the same old Phoenician characters, the faceless knight. Okay, Josu, if you like. I don't even know who that might be. I'm thinking Josephus at this stage, but I'll have to, have a real good think about that. But I think the clue is he doesn't exist anymore, because these weapons we have here, fasces. If you don't know about the fasces, you can find out on the Greater Secret Never Told Synopsis, this channel, Celtic Tartarian channel, and I don't know, all my channels. Or read the Flat Earth British book, where I talk about fasces, the holy grail of our flat earth, which is epic Flat Earth book. You can get it on Amazon, and you can find it in the links below this. So the old icons, the old fasces, bit of dealing going down. So they do like to sacrifice. In my mind, they're doing a big sacrifice right now. Them poor old people, don't even want to think about what happened to them. I'm just very, very grateful at this time that I know it sounds harsh and weird, but it's not, because I lost my family 2 years ago, my mother and my partner, and I know they wouldn't have been able to survive this time. It would have been a nightmare for them. So by the grace of God, or the grace of this place in the universe, they spared them. So led me to think then, because I'm not to have anything like that, because there's a apocalypse undergoing, and I got a significant role to play in it all, and it's been cleared so that I can do so. So yeah, is there smashing antiquity there and ripping down the Greco-Roman world? Look at these cities in the biblical era, and you get these Caesars. They're from the sea, Caesars, and the Romen who rode there. The Roman. All the clues are in the words. You can see it in a lot of the words, like with Roman, like romance, and necromance. Well, anything with mance, but you can find out, the words are associated with the type of mindset of Phoenicians. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about like vanity. That's the thing with them, isn't it? The mirrors and the vanity and Vanity Fair. There's a big clue of that, I think, as well, because that's a Phoenician trait, the old mirrors. Don't have them out in the woods if you're living in how we're supposed to be living. I'm afraid I don't know the narratives. They just are really interesting to look at, and it's just biblical, or Rome, I should say. So everyone's got their fasces in the background, and there's a bit of carnage going down in what they call the Roman world. But you do get to see some giants, and a lot of fasces. So Roman emblems of Roman conquests. Oh woe is me. So more fasces again. They're going to put her in a hole. If I was to hazard a guess, I'd say that was one of the Vestal Virgins. Yes, that's right. Basically, if you're a Vestal Virgin, you have to stay a virgin up on the hill. Otherwise, Rome will have a great calamity. I think this virgin got caught, basically following her human emotions and feelings. Nature called, and she got caught. He got killed, and they stuck her in a hole in the ground where she whimpered until she starved and thirsted to death. So if you were a Vestal Virgin and you got caught blagging, That's what happened to you. Yeah, they once their Vestal virgins by all accounts. So yeah, the Romans were into a bit of torture and stuff. So no different to the modern people of today. They're gaslighting and torturing everybody, aren't they? We're not allowed to do anything. We're not allowed to see our families, go out. If you go out, you've got to go out for a little while. There's nowhere to go to socialise. There's nowhere to go anyway, full stop. It's winter. It's pissing down. So you're not going to be able to go walking in the woods much. And, you know, they're just really limiting what we can do here. But, like I said, you know, you can use the initiative and take absolutely no notice until they confront you anyway. And then you just hit them back with their own bullshit. Some of the bullshit that I will show you now in this post, guys, very shortly. So gladiatorial things, maybe. And one of these is in New York, Madison Gardens. You'd see one in St. Petersburg, and they are Phoenician totems with ships. And they're around now today, and they're shown in these depictions of Rome in the Middle Ages. And he presents the faceless knight to a guy which looks like Zeus, which is sitting on an eagle with the wings open, and he has a fasces active in his hand. Even an active fasces, electromagnetic technology, zap, zap, melt, melt, earthquake, earthquake, everybody dies. So there's everything going on in there. So yeah, sacrifice is what they're doing. Sacrifice is justified. What about that word? Justified. So it's just, what? Because I just did it. It's just defied. Fied. Justified. Justified. Cluage. Anyway, I'll go deeper with that word. My brain's gone. So yeah. I'm not sure about what these are, but Satan is in here, or Satan, and I'm guessing this is one of these Roman do's where everyone's getting drunk and letting their things hang out stuffage. Off to zap this, load, charge fasces, walls are down, no problem whatsoever. Can you make my poles do what your poles did? No, don't tell him the secret, Governor. Don't tell him the secret. Well, it's not much of a secret. Just put a cable around it and activate a charge. Yeah, shit! Is that a globe? Has to be celestial, because I don't think they were actually around. He's doing... this could be Pythagoras or some stupid person they're going to kill. He's doing mathematics on the floor. Angles. Anyway. He's doing Bruce Lee. Looks like there's a bit of Enter the Dragon going on in the background too. Yeah, don't mess with Bruce Lee. He's going to have you all. So I watched Enter the Dragon the other day. It's a cracking up film, isn't it? It's real good fun, isn't it, Bruce Lee? So I was just thinking, like, you know, they killed his son, Brandon Lee. What is the chances of him having the loaded gun on a film set anyway? Yeah, they always have loaded real guns. Aren't they like sort of props? And they're like not real or heavy or anything. So he didn't know when he got shot with it, or the person. Oh, it's a real gun. Sorry, Bruce Lee's famous son, your first cracking film. So they're bringing in this. This is a fasces. This is the daddy of fasces. Eagle, wings open, charge active, bound. Be very careful with that fasces. That one will take an entire city out, no problem. Once that's activated, it's like Tesla's earthquake machine. It resonates. There's a big glow around it. It's just like Ark technology, like the Ark of the Covenant technology. So yeah, I think this place is probably what we're living in, a Ark, like we're actually Noah's Ark, in a yellow submarine in the bottom of an ocean, lost at sea. Save our souls, with a lot of watery wickedness. Now the Phoenicians are in the water. They're not physical as such. They are a parasitical mindset, if you like. The thing in our subconscious is bugging us constantly. Now, this is what Lee, Flat Earth British subscriber channel, who made a vlog the other day, a banner vlog because he's back, thought about the Phoenicians being water and the Tartarians being oil. Now, remember that oil is non-water soluble. They don't mix. And the Tartarians, we feel, are oil. And the Which makes a lot of sense, because actually, thinking about it, all oil products are named after Tartarians. So, ka-chingly, well, you got coal tar, you have tar, you have tarmac. And remember, the tarmac is laid on all the roads of this world for the tyres of Tyre, the Phoenician city of Tyre, to roll over. Now, wouldn't that be a sick thing to do? When you take out civilization, just roll over them. So yeah, a lot of things with tar that are associated with oil. Think about it. So the Phoenicians are water, the Tartarians are oil. I like it. We're going with that. So they are really cool depictions of a Roman. Let's find a giant or three, because we do get them. Right, they're off to battle with their fasces. More Bruce Lee going on. Oh dear, oh dear, dear. Incendiary of the capital. So, Greco-Romano buildings, all made of stone, granite, marble, and they just burn with all their effigies. Everyone goes batshit crazy and starts killing everyone else in these final times. You see this quite a lot. People are panicky, scared animals, and in some respects I can understand why they kept the reset system or the reset cycle quiet, but I feel that no, we should know, because they keep playing God with our lives when they say it's time for you to go, we can't afford to keep you. They play God with us right the way through, dictating our existences. So it's supposed to be Rome, look, this book, and it's these same Phoenicians coming in on their boats, and we got the sirens as well. So they were big into the psychic world, the apparent Romans, with the oracles and sibyllines. So this is the death of Cleopatra. She got bit on the ass. Oh no, bit by an asp. Sorry. More to Cleopatra. 722. Could that be 1722? So she's a bit of a beaut, wasn't she, Cleopatra? Yeah, so they say, but you know, I'm not going to go into details about Cleopatra's life. I don't know enough about her. So these are more biblical depictions. I'm going to share these below. 1719, a nice little year for depictions, and what you get is highly detailed biblical depictions. But it's the usual strangeness going on. No, I get trolled. I get trolled quite a bit. I get like people making videos. I've been absolutely everything. Okay, and the latest one is really peculiar. Excuse me, is that not loading up? I want to load the smaller images. We'll go through a few of these. I think it's jolly good fun anyway, because you should, you know, gauge a man by his fruits. No, of labour and what they put in, and I just put everything into truth and just helping people, really. Because I don't really want for much. So this Jesus dude is stepping on a skeleton. He's riding a bull, and he's riding a Phoenician lion. Anything else Phoenician going on? And you got the cape going on like Superman. So, and where is he, the Phoenician? In the clouds. So it could be akin to, you know, Christ consciousness. That consciousness is the information in this field, in this simulation, that will take you to that vibration. A conduit mediator bypass is what I think. I converse with the Most High, or the Most High converses with me. I have little bits come here and there, and little messages every day, and to the higher self, the higher mountain. Living in a lower entropy state, trying to calm myself down, trying to slower my thoughts, because I tend to have a lot of thoughts erratic thoughts. This is why I talk too much. I talk too much on YouTube and shows and everything else. I have a lot to say, but my mind is just like so much going on. Too much. So let's have a look. So I'm guessing this is Adam and Eve getting slung out into the wilderness after they took the knowledge that was tempted to them by the serpent. I notice there's no Lilith happening in this. So Lilith, she's a definite real thing, 100%, and appears to certain people in this realm, depending on who they are. So I guess in that's Cain doing a bit of sacrificing. It's all weird, isn't it? It's like, you know, sacrificing and stuff. Necromancy. There's another mancy as well, another mancy word. So a Phoenician again in the clouds, where the information is, in the water. And I'm guessing sacrifice affects the ether. When you take something or kill something out of this realm, it creates a dark energy, which is a force that they require in the evil. If you think of this as a simulation, you know, they have bugs in a computer, bugs in a simulation. There's a couple of chicks kissing there. We got lesbians. Maybe this is the capital of Lesbania. What's going on here? Murder, burning people, and they're having a party about it all. It's not good, is it, guys? It's like the death squads of World War II. I think I'll cover Stalin in a vlog coming up soon, and some of the things that he got up to, because he was definitely getting rid of the Phoenicians. Excuse me, the Tartarians. No doubt about it. There's a whole island off of Archangel full of them. Check this out. Wow. So Noah's flood is the ark, and everyone's going to get on higher ground or they're going to die. The wave, if it's a mile high and it comes from the west, none of this will make any difference. But I think there were survivors. I think there were plenty of survivors. I think there were plenty of arks. I think we could be in one. Clues? Antarctica. It says ark in it, and it's a clock ticking. Antarctica. Arctic. When the veil is lifted soon, some won't be able to take it. So the consciousness has to evolve enough to that point for us all to be ready to take it. You get me, guys? I'm willing to go with that. We just got to be patient. Obviously there's going to be enough time. We would have had a tip off. I can't imagine the Creator abandoning us to them. We will interfere or intervene with people in this realm. So, in the simulation, on this still flat Earth. So it's all set in the medieval era, obviously, because all of this, in my mind, was in the medieval era and lasted a long time. Calendar switch off because of Mad Max. Calendar switch back on. Calendar switches, changes in timelines. So much going on with history, but it's showing itself to us, and it hasn't. I don't believe in the past. I don't think academia got anywhere close. If you asked anybody, you know, if you bring up flat Earth, they're going to bring up the Greeks. They're going to bring up Aristotle or Aristophanes as their arguments. Greeks, guys, thousands of years old apparently, from some classical you know, people. Wow. And they use this for everything. It's their classical answers. Yeah, can you prove to me without a shadow of a doubt that, say, Plato existed? Well, yeah, we got his writings here. He signed them, Plato. Oh, right. So somebody else couldn't have put Plato, and they're in stone, so it could have been done like yesterday. You don't even know, do you? No, we don't really. So Plato, Cicero, and all the other contemporaries, the only contemporaries they have for history, are completely credible, because you can't check if they're real anyway, and it's far off antiquity, and it all sounds like a load of shit to me. Anyway, Do you get my drift? So I laugh when globe heads bring up the Greeks. Makes me want to giggle. The Greeks, is that it? The ancient Greeks prove a globe today. Alright. What would that be? Sticks in the sand. Aristophanes, is it? Alright. Have you actually looked into that subject? It's on 2 time zones. One's in CA, one's on the other side of another time zone. You can actually do this test and it works locally. Anyway. Showing a local sun in our experience. Self-contained globe orb of perspective, because we see things in a circle around them which people interpret as being a ball when it's not. So Sodom and Gomorrah, she looked back and she turns into a statue. What's the waves? Was there a wave at Sodom and Gomorrah? Not really. So I showed that in my last post Friday, so I hope you enjoyed that. So this will only be an hour-long post. I won't be staying for long. I'm going to show you some cool vintage photography places in the world, late 1800s, for Clue Age. Some of them are really beautiful and not been seen before on Flat Earth British. So I'll share these couple of links. I'll come back when I have a little revise and have a think about what we're doing this week and what's happening. I've got a show coming up this week with Richard Lopez, where we'll be talking about Tartarian airships, as far as I know. I don't know if Robert Bassan will be there. Maybe. So that'll be absolutely epic. Hooking up with my blessed brother Richard. So that'll be this week. Hopefully. Probably. So I'll keep an eye out for that on Flat Earth British this week. Okay. I've had enough of that now. So this is what's going on Flat Earth British. Put that out if you haven't watched it. Do watch it. It was a cracking little video. Shocking stone people. Okay, the petrifying past, and that's been us in the last week or so. And I've been posting on this channel as well, and a couple on the Tartarian channel. You can pick up a load of books and information and anything you want to know about on our website. Excuse me. On our website. I just changed it to the Tartarian channel. And this is our other channel, the Tartarian channel, with 1,000 videos. Check them out on our website, flatearthbritishinfo.com, which will be linked below. So, some images now. So, firstly, this to do with the epidemic. Now, this lady, okay, she says this. She wrote a book on the subject of Spanish flu, and she said they discovered that most of the victims of Spanish flu didn't die from Spanish flu. They died from bacterial pneumonia. The bacterial pneumonia was caused by, wait for it, wearing masks. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, I know. So, excuse me, my images. So, keeping healthy. This I talked about with Campbell, was autodidactic. The things that look like parts of the body, like a walnut, is good for the brain because it looks like a brain. Okay, so these are the type of things are good for your brain. Okay, so this is brain food. For you'll need to get away from that calcified water, that fluoride water, which will calcify your pineal gland. You need to open up that eye, that first eye, and you need to, really see what's going on. Okay, we're missing out on so much in our 5 centuries perceptive consciousness. Okay, open up your 6 senses, even beyond that, guys, and the world is your oyster. So dark chocolate is good for your brain. Coconut, turmeric is fantastic superfood. Rosemary, kale, fruit, and hemp oil is good for your brain. Okay, so get them things on you, especially in these weird times. You need to get healthy and you need to get your shit together on the health factors. Okay, not letting your vibration drop, eating properly, and sleep if you can. But make sure to get that exercise in. I require, because I'm fit and I need miles a day. I need long walks. So these are images of art and architecture from the continent, and I'll share them with you now. This is from Florence. It's really beautiful and too lifelike, especially the women. So yeah, I really am not a fan of lockdown, but I'm guessing other people are quite happy to stay in. But I don't know. Plus, everybody I know is not in my city, and I'm not out of the city. I'm a flat earther. Yeah, I can only really bother with flat earthers or truthers. I can't talk to ordinary people like that. I just can't, because it's like nails on a blackboard to me. I'm like, and I can't be bothered explaining them to them about anything really. People ask me, I'm happy to give them the answers of what I think, but I'm not going to be like, look at that, that's in Sydney, I've shown that before, pretty fantastic building. I'm not going to get involved with basically their psychopathicness or their mental illness problems, because that's what's going on really. It's like, don't involve me in your weird world. Yeah, I'm not in it, so I try to keep away. So in the 1800s, this is, you know, look at these people in Italy, and this is the architecture they had, excuse me, in Italy. Pretty fantastical, isn't it? Around the fountain or font, and they're picking up their water to take it back home, public water, because they've got no pipes, because they're not working from the Roman days, because they're reset full of the mud. So it looks like a face, looks like teeth. Not sure about this appendage, but they look like teeth, and that looks like a mouth. Alien. I think this one is in Paris. This is the Opera House. Beautiful, amazing, beautiful building. But the Opera Houses are all Venice's, Berlin's, just stunning buildings. So they got the cobble down there on that Greco-Romano place, haven't they? Cobble Road. And I'm guessing this is the Forum in Pompeii. Okay, we talked about this on my last post. Entire Greco-Romano civilization smashed, burned, decimated. They blame Vesuvius, possibly part of that, but earthquakes, and I suspect a plasma event, and the earthquake going at the same time. Maybe they were all deep in mud and silt, pyroclastic flow, they say. That's an amazing building. It's the mosque in Jerusalem. There's other clues. The stone, the rock, stone and the rock in Israel. You know what a weird thing to worship and everything. It's just this bog standard big load of slabby rocks. Table. Oh God, I can't remember. And that is in the Great Expositions in Paris. There's a nice little chateau. Might be a clue with chateaus as well. They're like English stately homes. Clues with them. That's down on the Rhine. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Rhine. And this is London. He looks cartoon. They look cartoon. The old curiosity shop, immortalised by Charles Darwin. Waste paper dealer. Sent to the mills. So you go in there with a bundle of paper and get money back. Could you do that in this day and age? I don't know. Sounds like a good little earner. You should be able to do with pop bottles, Versailles. Now they got a stinking great pyramid outside with 666 pane of glass in it. Because they're evil. And this is where Queen is supposed to be at the moment. Windsor Castle. It's supposed to be a Norman keep and the oldest inhabited castle on earth. She's supposed to be in there. There's all bunkers underneath here and all that. So they say. There's no proof of the Queen is anywhere in Britain or in this continent or in this world at the moment. So that's Lime Street in Liverpool. Liverpool's smack full of Tartarian buildings. Plenty of people send me photographs of Birmingham, Manchester, Sheffield, London. This is the Bank of England, all that's left of it. There was a city inside there, a Roman city. I've posted about it. It's on my Tartarian channel. You can walk past this in the modern day. The windows all blocked up. Greco. All of this, right the way along, was just unbelievable. But the fire happened gutted. This is the remainders. Again in the 1850s when something happened, and that is the Bank of England, which is a crazy big bank, and it's not in England really, because it's in the City of London, which is not England. It's City of London, like Washington. It's not part of it, it's their own country. Plenty of them out there. Sinister. And what we got here? Paris? Oh no. In Belgium. Blank plaque, no one around. Beautifully manicured, and they're just looking on. Wonder what they're thinking. No plaque on here either. So what, did they just build the city? Do you know what I mean? There's nothing, no information on anything. Excuse me. And what we got here is Vienna. Vienna. Ding, 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 ding. And this is where you can find the statue of the Gorgon and Theseus and other great statues in Florence. Outdoors. Venice, place I've been to, and Florence as well, and New York, Fort Worth, Stafford, Statue of Liberty. Big clues with Statue of Liberty, I feel. It's not where it's supposed to be for a start off. It's moved in timelines. Very confusing state of affairs, all of it. Trafalgar Square, posted about yesterday. Maybe these lions have infants inside them, because this is a witchcraft centre. This is their hub, where they centre their pentagram. They say, when they built this place, they say in the 1850s, which there are no photographs. This is all already built, the only oldest photograph of it. They found dinosaur bones, so that just tells you there's something else going on, and that never happened, because it's all to do with the Bone Wars and filling the British, the Natural History Museum. It's absolute bullshit, all of it. So I'm guessing that's Nepali. Why 3 million plus people would live under that volcano? They don't seem to mind whatsoever, do they? Fireworks going off here in Britain, in Cardiff. See, they got money to spend on them stupid things, and that's the Rock. Rock of Gibraltar. I've been to Gibraltar. I didn't go up there. I was going to go up there, trip and see the monkeys and stuff, but basically I didn't make it up there because there was too much going on in Gib, which is British, which is fantastic. They got like British home stores and everything. It's in Spain. It's cool. British coppers, British telephone boxes. Tough little town though, I noticed. Easy place to get yourself killed, especially if you meet. I heard that. So, the antique world smashed beyond. Melted, blackened by heat. Heat coming this way, blackened it here. Blackened it these sides of the pillars. From the heat of plasma. And thought to be from the older world as well, the Washington Memorial. And this one's in Boston. Do they say Boston? Yeah, Bunker Hill. So this one, didn't this one get removed? Yeah, it did, didn't it? That's on top of Bunker Hill. And Boston was also levelled as well in its narrative. And I've posted about Bunker Hill as well. So, human interest. Something like Hans Christian Andersen. That's Gutenberg. There's clues in Gutenberg. There's clues in Hans Christian Andersen tales, definitely. And Brothers Grimm. What a name as well, isn't it? Grimm. And it's always tainted, isn't it? It's always evil, and it's always about killing children. You know, it's always something like, you know, with Red Riding Hood. You know, all the better to eat you with. You know, they're all like it. It's all like, oh, I could be killed. I used to get really scared as a kid, thinking, oh, you could be killed. You could be really, really killed. So they were like, oh, horror, really. Horror for kids. Frighten them. Oh. With scary tales of what could happen. Sick, really, isn't it? I can't remember any kid stories being really happy, really. No, not really. What ended happy? Famous Five. They ended happy. But that's just like a dream of how you want your childhood holidays. My childhood holidays in school were never like that. They were deadly. It's like you got through the summer holidays anyway. So, but I lived in a different world. Look at that for see, that's puke. I don't think I could handle being in there with them lot. I would fucking make me feel nauseous. I'd want to fuck shit up. I'd be looking to do something. No doubt about it. That's how my mind works. Can't stand them. I don't think they have no right to do it to us. They live like that with all that opulence. Who wants it anyway? And we got to pay for it and slave and die. Fuck off. A Greek statue or human being? Who knows? Religious depictions. Where are the Phoenicians? In the clouds. I'm going to come back now because this is just going to be an extra. We talked about the Cardiff Gyant. I think it's real. I think Wikipedia lie anyway. And there's plenty of narratives to say this thing's real out there. And I would suggest that there was a lot of information coming out about giants, especially in New York State at this period. And I think they were being unearthed from the reset. And I think it's been covered up. And what a perfect way to get rid of it. They do it all of the time, don't they, with other stuff. They just bring in a psyop, the hippie movement, get, basically Woodstock, and then end all that week with Charlie Manson murders. Hippie movement, controlled, overnight ended. Overnight ended because of Charlie Manson. So, then, this is stage show. So it comes out of a book. So that's a Victoria Memorial opposite the Albert Hall in London. It could be a top of something, I'm thinking, but I think it's the device anyway. So excuse me, let's have a look at a few more of these. So this is if you go on a beach in Holland. This is Scheveningen, place I know very well. The strip there is absolutely fantastic. You have a brilliant time. They've got a massive Tartarian casino, and loads of places to eat on the beach. And it hasn't changed that much. These look cartoon, by the way. They get changed in them little wicker things and out into the North Sea, which is freezing, by the way. Brandenburg Gate, that's going to look different in 40 years. Casa d'Angelo in Rome, which is all on the bottom. Rock is visible. Like if something's come up this way, water, and taking away all of this. So I think this is water damage and water line from when Rome was underwater in the 1600s, as we have discovered on Flat Earth British of size in Rialto Bridge, excuse me, in Venice, which I've been over. It's quite there. Here is alright. Nothing too bad happened. So another place which nothing too bad happened either for me. Oh, that's Cairo. I thought it was Istanbul. So, Passion of Christ play. So torture a guy on stage. Then have people crying. Sounds awful. So this thing's had something happen to it because there's 2 clocks missing in this. I haven't seen any images. I can't remember seeing any images with them in there. So. That's me, I'm coming back. That's been my vlog for today. Okay. Ba-da! FEB Extra, only an hour. That's for Flat Day. Fat thumbs to all. I've shared my thoughts with you all concerning all the ongoing events, how I feel. And this week, okay, I've talked to Richard Lopez, his channel, and I'm going to hang out and talk about things this week with him. I don't know what else is coming up, but I'm working on my next vlog on my Liedtke channel as soon as I finish this and upload this. So have a good evening, have a fabulous week ahead. Don't take no notice of the insanity, and remember, if you're in the community of Flat Earth British or the Truthful community, do not be alone out there. We are all here talking comments, talk on Barbaria website, talk on we need more ways of communicating, but we're here, guys, and we're all here in chat now, okay? So nobody be alone out there, because this is a fantastically lonely time. People can't visit their family if they're lucky enough to have any, or their friends or anything. It's a real painful fucking time. It stings. It stings. They're bastards. They're bastards. So lift your vibration together, and I'll see you soon. Peace and love to all. I'll see you on the next one.